Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be reacting to the Monument Mythos, a video I promised not too long ago, and no, I did not set this up. Okay. Set that up, that worked right. Yeah, it's recording. So I was watching and then I decided, hey, what if I make a video about this? Alcatraz Attack, Rushmore Revenge, and Liberty Lurker, Corner Folk, and then the original teaser I'd already watched. Also, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but he's the original maker of the Monument Mythos, and I recommend you check him out. I will try to at least add a bit of commentary to this series. Hopefully, it will be enjoyable for all of you to watch. Let's enjoy. Dean Democracy. Also, please don't mind the cats. Also, it's kind of scary.
During the program of ABC Evening News, anchor Peter Jennings told viewers to look forward to next week for a special broadcast of national significance. Jennings would continue to remind viewers of the special broadcast over the next 7 nights, even referring to it at one point as the most unprecedented announcement in recent history.
I would not want to hear that if I was in this world. I would not fuck with that. Yeah, the Corner Folk, the Liberty Lurker, and look at all this shit that has already gone down. Like, we still got so many more episodes. There's 39 in total, so I have to get through all this. Probably not today. It'll probably take multiple parts, but hey, this is not going to be fun for me at least.
A week after its first mention, Jennings reminded viewers of the special broadcast one last time, asking them to pay attention later that night for an exclusive look at the greatest gift to the American people.
I'm scared.
Due to the anticipation built over the week, over 60 million Americans tuned into ABC, waiting for the evening news to end and for the special broadcast to begin. There were countless theories as to what would occur, from the announcement of alien life to the declaration of an all-out nuclear war.
Oh, that would be bad. That'd be super bad. I don't know which would actually be worse, because we're kind of already dealing with stuff like aliens so far, with like the Rushmore Revenge and Liberty Lurker. We don't know what the fuck a Liberty Lurker is. We know the Corner Folk are from an alternate universe. But hey, the Alcatraz Attack is a worrying thing. Like, nobody wants to deal with that. It's Oregon, like West Texas.
Speculation was brewing intensely. Once the evening news program ended, a black screen with a 10-second countdown commenced with the title Dean Democracy. Some viewers, so terrified of the threat of nuclear war, reportedly experienced nervous breakdowns and ran down the street, declaring that Dean Democracy was the code name for an all-out nuclear holocaust.
I wouldn't assume that, but I would be terrified. Like, a nuclear war? Okay, I'm gonna shut up before everybody clicks.
The countdown ended. All fears were soon replaced with tears of joy and an excitement not seen since the end of World War II.
Score all mini-priced Domino's pizzas for half off.
We're not showing that because we do not advertise. We're not sponsored by Domino's. And I am too lazy to edit any of these videos, and also my phone storage is low because life. Yeah, this is the part I got to originally before I decided to react to this.
Let's bring them back home.
Dean for
The
president.
seconds following James Dean's presidential announcement, hundreds of thousands of neighborhoods erupted into celebration. Although other candidates had
I was
promised to end the Vietnam
one of the dudes in the back just kind of chilling. It looked like he was doing the Rick Astley dance, doing the little dun 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 dun. I don't know if you can see that. Whatever.
war, none had so accurately expressed the same
End the
anger that they
war
had felt,
in
which Dean
Vietnam.
had perfectly conveyed in a 15-second broadcast. Due to popular demand, the ABC Evening News was canceled the next night, replaced by a 30-minute loop of James Dean's presidential announcement. The broadcast was watched again by over 38 million Americans,
Damn.
and the parties continued for the rest of the week.
The kid in the back just is like, oh,
Due
what's happening?
to repeated assassination attempts on Robert Kennedy, the Democrats
Ooh. Wait, so I don't know. I didn't really research into JFK and American history for this. I just know what I know from like my history classes and stuff over the years. But I thought there was only like one assassination attempt that went great for the assassin, not for the U.S. population and all that. But didn't JFK get killed on like the first try? I don't know. I didn't research this, and I probably might do some research later to figure out what it means to other assassination attempts. But hey, let's ignore that.
Democratic Party presidential debates were canceled for the 1968 election season. However, this proved to be no issue for Dean, as polls indicated that he was in the lead for the entirety of 1967 and 1968, despite having had fewer public appearances and rallies than any other candidate. The strength of his campaign relied on the powerful advertisements he directed that would air every Friday evening on ABC. The series of programs would be considered by many as another weekly TV series.
Because the TV back then was still kind of new, so using that to his advantage. I swear I try not to get political in any of these videos. I doubt they'll ever be very political. But like, hey, at least I'm trying to commentate. I'm trying to do something. 6 minutes and we're only 2 minutes into the video. At least I've
The
had something.
highest rated TV show on television after the conclusion of Star Trek in 1967.
That's so important.
Although a presidential debate was eventually scheduled 2 weeks before the election, James Dean instead invited opponent Richard Nixon to a track to race cars on the same night. Although reluctant at first, Nixon eventually agreed and went to spend the entire day with Dean, reportedly even telling the actor, "To hell with it, I'm voting for you. You're already a better president than I'll ever be." This statement, although only a rumor, would spread like wildfire in tabloids and permanently curbed Nixon's chance for victory. On the morning of November 1st, 1968, 4 days before Election Day, anti-Dean groups hijacked radio channels and told civilians they were fed up with James Dean and that television was ruining American youth. After the broadcast, the groups went on to cut hundreds of power lines in the southeast, effectively preventing any of Dean's presidential ads from reaching any household below Tennessee. Dean quickly heard...
Hey, I live in Tennessee. That's kind of fun. Basically, my state was the only non-affected one. That's just fun for me. Okay, I'm taking one win. Okay, my state, we're southern as hell and we suck. We ain't got nothing to do here. Well, we got Nashville, but like, where else do you go once you go to Nashville? Would you ever even come back to Tennessee after you go to Nashville like one time? No, we got nothing. Oh, no, McDonald's. Yeah, well, you have that across the entire world too. You're not getting anything useful out of visiting Tennessee. Visit something like Washington or New York, and they both probably suck even more than Tennessee does. I've never left the state besides Georgia. I've only been to Georgia, Tennessee, and Tennessee. I live in Tennessee and have been to Georgia like a handful, like 3 times or 3 or 4 times. And we don't got much. Wait, how many subscribers does this creator have? Damn.
The incident, and despite the risk of an assassination, flew down to the south and quickly went to work with local electricians to repair the broken power lines. James Dean would be met with a supportive crowd, primarily younger voters who were eager to see a younger face back in the White House. Elderly white conservatives.
Can we get a younger face in the White House nowadays? Look, I'm not trying to get political, but like, when was the last time we had somebody who didn't look like a fossil? No offense to Donald Trump or Biden or anybody like Kamala. Just, like, when did we have somebody who was like 35 back in office? Did we ever actually have somebody 35? Because I think that's when you're able to legally try and run for president, right?
Often the parents of the younger supporters, remained in their houses and occasionally peered through their window blinds to catch a glimpse of the handsome candidate. Although it wasn't known to Dean at the time, hate groups in the South had perpetuated the idea that he was Satan in disguise, and cited his good looks and his love for jazz as being clear signs of the devil.
Love the PNG.
James Dean is no man.
The mustache. crazy. Like, he looks kind of funny, okay? Is this like propaganda that is supposed to incite fear? Wait, what if you're like not Christian, or what if whatever religion you believe in, you just don't believe in like Satan? What if you're Buddhist? I don't think the hell Satan and Buddhism. I don't know. It's been a good minute since I've covered Buddhism, not here, but like in real life. And at least my social studies / history, whatever you want to call it, teacher last year, I never talked about there being like a Satan in Buddhism. So what do Buddhists think about this? How I wonder.
Elderly white conservatives in the Southeast would be the only demographic unfazed by his campaign. Yet Dean continued to travel from state to state, repairing power lines for 4 days straight until the very morning of the election.
I prefer not to say that.
On November 5th, 1968,
That was like uncomfortable. That was
James
an
Dean.
uncomfortable question. Do you own your home or not? Or do you rent your home? I don't want to expose myself.
received 75% of the popular vote with 395 electoral votes. Nixon congratulated Dean in a phone call the following morning, but Dean refused to acknowledge the win and instead asked to race cars again at the track.
That's nice.
On January 20th,
Oh god, what if
1960,
they were right and James Dean in this universe is the devil? That'd be actually, I won't like the twist. It'd be kind of boring. Like,
James
oh,
Dean held his inaugural address at the official Capitol Raceway. Although presidents in the past had speeches that were typically around 20 minutes, Dean spoke for less than a minute.
I have a speech, and it has the flotsam that you people expect to hear. But that's not fair. No, that's not fair at all. I'm here for all of you. It's only fair that you speak for yourselves. My words shouldn't be louder than yours. So I brought many other guests to speak. They're just people like you and I. In the same time that many other presidents have spoken by themselves, America will speak. Thank you.
Fire speech before you get
Dean
cut off by
proceeded
some
to
other.
introduce many groups to the microphone, including civil rights activists and Native American families. Martin Luther King Jr. would also come forward to speak in his first appearance since an attempt on his...
This is. I don't know how true this is because I did not do a bunch of research for this. I'm just going off of what I know based off of American history, and I barely know anything about JFK, James Dean, or anybody like that. Hi, Lila. That's my cat that I'm talking to right now. Her name is Lila, and she's sleeping. Yeah, but I don't really have a take on this. I just think it's that if this is based off of entirely real history for the most part, like obviously Alcatraz shut down and all that, and it's not spreading all the way to West Texas, and I hope the Liberty Lurker and Rushmore Revenge are paid up. The corner folk. No, that's fun saying corner folk. Corner folk. Said it.
9 months prior.
I like
President Dean would conclude the inauguration with a brief bongo performance and went on to race Richard Nixon at the track. In subsequent presidential
Also, sorry
inaugurations,
this took a day after I was busy on the phone with my girlfriend, which I surprisingly have one. But yeah, that's what took up most of my time yesterday, and also being outside because of the nice weather. So that's why this video got delayed. I'm sorry for that.
those
just
who
rat
disagreed
to
with the elected
Air
president
Force,
would instead
Angel.
celebrate Dean Democracy
After
Day
this,
and
I
protested by
wanna make
watching
this a
Dean
short
take
series.
on the address in place of the
So it
actual
also just doesn't take up too much of my phone storage in between each uploads. Actually, maybe Lincoln Looker. That. Holy fuck! That was my sister. You scared me. Cause I was locked in. I was making a YouTube video. I was so happy. Oh, I need your file. Reaction content. I'm bored. I probably just had my phone. Some people will probably put off whatever. That's my sister. I'm sorry. I did not plan for her to be here. She's scared of the daylights at me. I need a room dedicated for this stuff so I can have
In
it.
a televised address, President Dean planned to inform Americans of his first 90 days in office. However, 6 seconds into the broadcast, the audio cut out and remained absent for the remainder of the speech. Although anti-Dean groups claimed responsibility and took pride in the sabotage, many civilians claimed that it benefited the president. The silent broadcast highlighted President Dean's sincere facial expressions and lively disposition, as opposed to the stern and stiff personalities of prior administrations. Viewers were proud to see a man in his prime at the most important position in the country. Ironically, President Dean's popularity grew after the technical difficulty, and film director Stanley Kubrick went on to call the broadcast the greatest silent film ever made.
Actually, I think that's true. But somebody did say that, or it's another thing I can't think of right now. It's either that or something else I can't remember right now. Somebody called. I don't know if that's true or not. Don't call me on it, please. Oh my god, this series is actually interesting as fuck. Democracy, look at America's greatest ever president. I'm not gonna pronounce that actually. Okay. Air Force Angel. We do not take free sponsors here. Oh shit. Okay, Air Force One Angel. August 17th, 2003. Hey, that's the same month I was born, just not the same year. Air Force One made an unannounced trip across the United States. Many civilians claim to see the aircraft drop packages on various national monuments. Ooh, that's actually interesting. What the hell? Okay. So I assume all these places are, but what the hell? Why? Wait, is that where Alcatraz is? Is that why it's getting bigger? That little black void? Is that why it's getting bigger? Is that where Alcatraz is? Is it relating back to Alcatraz attack or whatever it was called? That's actually interesting. Ooh. Is that Alcatraz? I don't know. I don't know what Alcatraz is mostly. All I know is that shut down. Ooh. Oh. Something's happening to the US. This isn't wicked. Do they drop bombs? You could please don't go on asking for that. What's that? All I know is I don't like it very much. Why does it look like SCP, whatever its name is, the peanut one? The dude that snaps your neck if you look away? Well, I kind of look like him. White House officials later disclosed that unusual flight of Air Force One was unauthorized and unmanned. The lone figure seen inside the plane, dubbed the Air Force One Angel, hasn't yet been identified by federal authorities. The U.S. got some shady shit going on in this universe. Well, they do in real life too, but like, hey, it's definitely a lot more shady in this. Every government's pretty shady, in my opinion, no matter which way you look at it. Because we all know, everybody has something to hide, even government officials, that, you don't need this exposed to the public. And I think the little peanut dude is one of them. Air Force One Angel. Okay, never mind. We will get Lincoln Logger.
Introducing the all-new
I mean, Lincoln Looker. It was Lincoln Looker. That's what it's
available trail launch.
Alright, yeah.
Conquer tough terrain.
We don't cover bullshit. If I'm mute button, actually. Mute that until it goes away. Lincoln Looker. This is interesting. I've always wanted to see the Lincoln Memorial when I was younger. I don't really care for it anymore. It's like, okay, it's a statue. What does it have besides some important U.S. history behind Lincoln, maybe? I don't know, honestly. I'm pretty young and stupid, so.
I was a Lincoln Looker for 2 weeks.
I was a Lincoln Looker? What the hell?
It was terrifying. One moment you're at home answering the door, and the next you're stuck in some suit. The smell was awful in there, and the metal seat was so cold. The only thing you can do is look through 2 little holes. It was some kind of mask, and out of the sunshine mirror, I could see the inside of it. It was a familiar face. Every few nights, straws would be put through the holes, and someone would feed me some weird soup. After 2 weeks, they found out that they had misidentified me, and I wasn't the correct Lincoln Looker.
Wait. So this woman was just kidnapped. She wasn't just a worker. Also, what even is the Lincoln Looker? I probably will research this later and then try to figure out what it is and explain it next time. Okay, we will do one more if this video doesn't get to like 40 minutes.
Reagan apologized to me personally, and I was released with some monetary compensation.
Ooh, heck yeah.
They don't care if I talk about it or not. No one would take me seriously. Lincoln Looking is just too absurd.
I don't get it, honestly. Was she in the suit, like, was she in like a mask? Like, what was it? Depending on how long this goes, I'll probably in the video or I might not.
There's always been someone that we dislike more than everyone else. Not usually famous or important, but we've done something that's affected us personally. Often you're the only person who remembers this act. But I've been that bad, but memory hurts. Everyone experiences this, and the president is no exception. Except he can do something about it. Every president can choose one person to be Lincoln Looker. After their alibi is fabricated, the person is abducted from their home, and they stay a Lincoln Looker for as long as the president sits in office. Nobody can.
That sounds wrong, because isn't like it 4 years every time like a president is voted? Like, so that means the Lincoln Looker is there for 4 years, unable to move or do anything. Sounds absolutely miserable.
Question his decision, and there's no trial. You might be surprised, but it's nothing new. It's been a tradition.
That's fun.
Lincoln Lookers have been around for a very long time.
Since he died, or like how long we talking? Has he? Due to rumors that Lincoln Lookers were imprisoned behind presidential portraits, White House officials publicly removed and reinstalled all the portrait to demonstrate that no space existed to hold Lincoln Lookers. This is interesting. So this is something like super fucked up and illegal then. So they're trying to cover this up. But one of the former presidents, I guess, I don't know. I didn't read what he was. Just confirm that they existed and that every president chooses one. that mean there has to be multiple of them? These are multiple portraits.
Hello,
Messenger.
we're not available now. Please leave your name and phone number.
Rain voice
after the
message.
beep. We will return your call.
Hey, Eunice. It's Howard.
Hey, this is Howard.
I don't know what I just saw.
I know I just saw.
I was at the top of the steps, reading the inscriptions and talking to visitors, when I started to hear a faint scratching sound.
Oh.
I didn't think much of it at first, but when I got close to his chair, I realized the scratching was coming from inside the marble. So I went to a guard and asked whether she could do it.
I went to a guard and asked whether she could do anything about animals that could be trapped in there. Oh no, it's a human. Or it might be the Mickey Mouse thing I saw on Wikipedia a while back when I was
Animals that could be
doing
trapped
a
in
bit
there.
of research about
She
Martin
told me
Luther.
not to worry about it, and that they'd take care of it once there were fewer visitors. A few minutes passed, and the scratching became much louder. I went back to the guard and asked what kind of animals usually got stuck in there, and she said, wild animals.
Oh.
The sound started to make visitors anxious. I remember one voice pulling so hard at his mother's hand, begging to leave. A blind girl with one of those canes went up to the chair and pressed her head against it to listen. Then she started crying. Her parents tried to pull her away, but she just began to hit the chair with her cane. That's when the guards asked everyone to go back down the steps. I don't know why, and it's gonna sound crazy, but I felt compelled to help. So I went to the blind girl and joined her in hitting the marble. The
With what,
guards
your
tried
face?
to pin us down, but the scratching became too loud for even them. It sounded like someone was shaking down a chalkboard. Eventually the marble began to crack, and a few more hits caused the crevice to expand all the way to the top of the chair. There was a sudden burst of air from the damage, and the head suddenly turned toward us. I was afraid it would fall, so I picked the girl up and went down a few steps. The head slowly rotated back into place, and when it started to be pushed upwards, I took out my camera.
Oh my god, is it like a monster in the Lincoln statue monument? Is it? I don't remember. But it's like, what the hell's my cat doing? I don't remember. But it's like a creature controlling the Lincoln statue. This is interesting. No, I don't want that.
It was no wild animal.
Yeah, no shit. Record the following images. Howard, don't die. Oh, she is doing what the Liberty Lurker did in the one of the previous videos, where it just kind of slid over. Oh, I thought it was about to say he ended up dead or something. Okay, it hasn't reached 30 minutes, but we're at probably haven't reached over 30 minutes because I like money. Corner girl? Oh, this is interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. It's scary.
Amy's not at work. She's on Get Your Guide,
Oh,
planning for her next trip.
you did realize that I don't give a fuck. Yeah, definitely far enough.
The forest fell swiftly as the lumberjack swung,
As the lumberjack swung.
except for the special tree, which could not be stung. She missed her friends and the hymns they sung, so she started a tune that broke the man's lung.
That's creepy. Okay, I think I don't like this no more. I don't think I will continue this series actually. Yes, I will. It's pretty fucking fun. What? It's like a tentacle. Okay, increase the quality of this. Okay, I think that's better. I can't really read it. Like, the construction begins. That's not a good idea, I don't think. I feel like it's a tentacle and it's gonna kill all of them. All the people in the building. Okay, construction halts due to the American Civil War. tower. Oh. Oh, are they feeding it? Oh god, I'm probably right. 1888. Construction is completed. That's nice. Please don't kill me. I plan to originally racked up. I did this on my phone, but like my app is dog shit, so I decided to delete it and just use the normal stuff I usually do. Washington Monument, and listen closely. Hear music within the walls. The Washington Monument becomes a major tourist attraction. Here's the Washington Monument. Listen closely. Hear the music on the walls. 1910, and now we're going to 1910 through 1971. From 1910 to 1971, 20 individuals disappear while visiting the Washington Monument. That's not good. The missing visitors are known as Washington's absence. Washington Standard Operation. A classified film titled Washington Standard Operation is linked by news agencies. Oh, this is not gonna be good, is it? I don't trust this monument entrance. Okay, I was like, are they really crushed by the door? Or the bucket? Are they killed by the bucket? No. This was like an elevator, hoisting cable. Okay, so we send the person up. Sound waves? What about sound waves? Why are they going up? Why do they not reverse back after going down? Oh! Okay. Oh. 1972. 2000, the year 2000. Washington Monument was vandalized. Music of Washington. Okay. The infection inside the music of Washington will end. The music of Washington will end. I mean, sorry. Music of Washington shall end. Do you hear that? Something spooky will happen. 2003. Okay. Are we gonna be inside of it now? We're gonna be inside the Washington Monument and see somebody get killed in that time. Is some dude like recording? Yeah. From the side. Oh. I did not even see that. I doubt y'all can either. Maybe for y'all it might be easier. What the fuck? I know, what the hell? Lightning? What the hell? All Washington's absence are found unconscious at the base of the monument. That was interesting. This series is definitely an interesting one, and the Nixon verse, the last son of Albert. I don't know. The day night. The series Jesus is in Vietnam. That's funny, actually. That's a funny title. Okay. Okay. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that series, and that it was something fun for you all to watch. Imperfect you, perfect you. Kill the body. Okay. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, do all those things, and holy hell, the iPhone camera sucks. How did my old one do better? You like to comment, like, subscribe, and do all that. Have a good day and enjoy. The original series, or check it out for yourself, and you'll probably gain something. Creatures, the end time, the rolling triangle. Okay, I'll go react to this later.